Hello, friends, and welcome to another single serving tabletop adventure. It's not really an adventure. It's a
Character
character
creation.
creation. Yeah. From Queenscourtgames. You all know me. I'm V, and I am joined today by one incredibly special guest member. I've got D from Onyx Path Publishing sitting right
Hello.
across from me. Uh,
Yes, metaphorically speaking.
Metaphorically. I mean, I'm here, my computer is there,
It's
ergo,
right
you are
across.
across from me. Uh,
That logic checks out.
the logic checks out. Today, we are doing a very, very special character creation. It's going to be available for everybody and not just patrons, which like is a really special thing because we're doing a character creation for none other than Curseborne. And I promise you, or you'll understand why I've said this. But I did not pay off D to give me this lineage ahead of time.
No.
But we're all going to get a good laugh once we dive into it. All of Dee's information, we can go over that at the end, or any of Onyx Path stuff, we'll go over all that at the end. And of course, all of that will be in all of the information, all the show notes, the description below. So I guess I'll just toss it over to D and we'll dive into character creation.
All right, great. So I am running you through character creation for Curseborne. And so normally if you were making a character for Curseborne, part of the pick process would be like the first thing you would pick would be which lineage do you want to be? But we've already kind of picked that. Um, so I'll start with character creation and we'll just kind of go down through the steps, but some of those things have already been picked for you, and that thing is specifically your lineage. Everything else is your pick, so let's get into it.
Mhm.
So the very first thing that we want to do is decide on a concept.
Okay.
And this could be anything. It doesn't have to be tied to your lineage. You could be, I'm a broke college student, or I'm, an exhausted barista, or kind of anything. Um, you can be thinking about the kind of the lineage you're going to be playing to help you decide on the concept. But for the most part, it is kind of just the essence of what it is you're looking to play. And personally, I tell people, like, you don't have to decide the concept right away, because sometimes making your picks helps you kind of decide what you want to do. Um, and sometimes you just have an idea already. And so if you do, we can go with it.
Now question, all of these, the lineages, are these things that are present like since birth? It's not the kind of thing where like they appear when you hit 18 or something like that.
Some of them might be present since birth, and some of them might have happened to you um, uh, later in life, or even in the case of the dead, post mortem.
Okay, all right, cool, cool, cool. Then I think I'm looking for something that's kind of like a childhood runaway, I guess. Somebody that doesn't have like family ties, somebody that, escaped a bad situation, and has kind of like had to grow up fending for herself, and finding solace in places that were open to folks who found themselves without a home for a period of time.
Okay, great. So that's your concept, and
Mhm.
so now we're going to talk about the next step, which is starting your paths.
Mhm.
And we're going to do lineage path first, because your lineage path dictates um, your family paths. So you're going to be playing a hungry.
Mhm.
Hungry are individuals who straddle a world between life and death and must feed on the living to survive. Now, the common kind of like vampire trope is that they drink blood. but our hungry can have a variety of appetites that they must satiate. So some of them drink blood, some of them eat ghosts, some of them eat souls, some of them eat emotions. So that is kind of, but they all kind of take from people to survive.
Okay.
Uh, so that's the hungry. So we're gonna go look at the hungry, and we're gonna talk about all the things you get from being a hungry, and then you're gonna decide if you want this path to be your major path or your minor path. And like I know you kind of already know which family you want, so be thinking about like is it the group that you have come to be with or the your state of being that you identify the most with. That one will be your major path. So let's get
Okay.
into talking about what you get as a hungry. So the first is that you must feed on a type of prey. Uh, in some way. So you have a prey of choice. So what it is you take from that person is dictated by your family, but who you target is 100% dictated by you.
Hmm.
Um, so if you, whenever you take whatever it is you need to take from a person, you will gain a curse die. And I'll explain curse die later, but this is like you can do this freely as you choose, or you can, or you may have to do it because you have run out of curse die. I will explain the damnation in a little bit, but you should pick the kind of people that you want to prey on, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. I think kind of sticking with the childhood runaway concept, I think I would like to focus on people who are well off. It can be new money, it can be old money, but like the people who have wealth and um there's a certain amount of like if you have an amount of money, there's a hoarding sort of thing involved. And this is not a thing that my character's ever really been able to do because she hasn't owned things. The property of ownership is very kind of open to her. So I think if you drive a really nice car, you're probably a target. If you have a really nice watch, you're probably a target. If your suit costs more than like $200, you're probably a target.
All right. So people with wealth, but not necessarily a discrimination between like people who are kind of middle to upper middle class and people who are like uber rich.
Yeah, I think if she saw two on the street and there was one who was very obviously more well off than another,
She would,
then she would choose
yeah,
that person, just on principle, right? But
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
So that's cool. So the wealthy, well-to-do are your preferred meals, as it were. Um, so the next thing you have as a hungry is you have strength. So the hungry are kind of, they're one of those lineages that aren't born this way. Someone actively curses them to become this kind of half alive, half dead creature that is constantly hungry for human sustenance. Like, not what humans eat, but humans. Uh, so
Important distinction.
important distinction. So you probably lived your life for most of, until an age, and then somebody, whoever cursed you, is kind of now your parental figure within your family. Even if you don't like them, even if you don't care for them, they're still kind of your hungry parent, as it were. Um, this gives you this kind of strength that comes as a benefit for being hungry. It's called Undead Strength, and When you use it, so you can use it at any time, activate it uh, by spending a curse die. And when you do, it activates for a scene, and uh, you get one of the following benefits. You can either, and it's all +1 enhancement to attributes in a specific arena. So it's essentially any action you make with attributes in the physical arena gain +1 enhancement. Or you can choose the mental arena, or you can choose the social arena. You can activate as many instances of this undead strength as you want. So you can activate, I want to get enhancement on my physical arena and my social arena, etc. You can also activate it to essentially regenerate damage. So 1 damage every round for the rest of the scene, you will just regenerate. But every time you activate your undead strength, it comes with a bane. Your banes are pretty common vampire trope banes. You pick one when either you or the story guide picks one when you activate your undead strength, so you get the benefit, and then you also suffer a moderate complication to any action you take while in this bane's presence. So, running water, fire, garlic, silver, sunlight, white animals, faith, objects of faith, garlic, mirrors, paper money, that kind of thing. You pick one, and if you're in the presence of it, anytime you take an action, you suffer a moderate complication. It will just deal damage to you if you don't buy that off. It may also create a status effect. So if you just do one instance of undead strength, actually it doesn't cost anything. I'm sorry. It just takes an action to boop up your undead strength. So you can just beef yourself up really high, but when you do, you have a bunch of banes, and it's way more likely they're going to come into effect.
Okay,
so it's kind of this risk-reward situation.
Okay. And then you spend your curse die to buy those off.
No. So complications work when you roll to do an action.
Got it.
Any extra hits that you get, you can use to buy off complications.
Sure. Okay. Story path system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So that's just a feature for being hungry. And then you have a damnation. Your damnation is if you run out of curse dice. So dice are, I'll explain this really quickly. Curse dice are you start with 1 at the beginning of the session. If you eat somebody or eat your meal from somebody, you get 1. There's a bunch of other things you could do, like anytime everybody in the group comes together to solve a problem, everybody in the group gets an additional curse die to kind of buff them up. And there's some other things that you do throughout the game that can give you curse die. You can only hold right now, because we're going to start at the lowest power level. You can only hold 5 of them. So if you would get any more, you just don't get them. And anytime you make an action, when you're forming your dice pool for that action, you start with your curse dice, and then you fill in the rest of the dice with just regular dice. So maybe they're a different color, or you roll them separately on a dice roller or something like that to differentiate what's a normal die and what's a curse die. And you can get rid of them out of your dice pool to fuel your powers, your spells, and there's some other things that you can spend your curse dice for. So if you actively choose to spend the last of your curse dice, then your hunger overcomes you, and you have to consume a meal as soon as possible, regardless of who your preferred victim is. and you can't cast spells or use your undead strength at all until you have done this. Once you,
Fun.
yeah, once you have had a meal, you get a curse die back. And if feeding makes things inconvenience for your friends, then you can either get a second curse die or a momentum. If the feeding, whatever you wind up doing, happens to be in line with your family's traditional means of feeding, you'll get both a momentum and a curse die.
Mm,
So if
okay,
you just,
okay.
yeah, so if you're a ghost eater and there happens to be a ghost nearby and you get real hungry and eat one, you get a momentum and a curse die. Sad for
Great.
the ghost, but
Well,
sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
yeah, yeah. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah. So the next thing that you get, and
Mhm.
every lineage gets a damnation, and every lineage gets these torments. And these torments are kind of things that your lineage kind of impulsively make you do. And when you do them, it's 100% your choice to do them. But when you do them, they generate momentum. So they're mostly roleplay burdens that make you do a thing so that you can get some momentum and add some kind of drama and flavor to what it is that you're doing and your character. So you're going to get a lineage. So you have two options between a lineage kind of designated torment, and then you're going to pick a personal trigger for the torment that essentially is personal to you. So
Hmm.
your options for the lineage torment. So I'll kind of read them to you, and then usually that helps people decide what their personal trigger is going to be.
Hmm.
Boundless hunger. Hunger defines the hungry. It's right there in the name. Despite the appellation, most hungry eventually find satisfaction, but not a character with this torment. When she succumbs, no amount of feeding fills her. She must continue to feed for the rest of the scene, even if it would provide no further nourishment or mechanical benefit, especially if it would cause harm to her friends or other close associates. The other one is Take What's Mine. The hungry rule by birthright. Their nobility, one and all, regardless of whether or not the rest of the world acknowledges this fact. A character with this torment recognizes that everything is hers. When she succumbs, there is no item, good, or service that she believes she cannot have. She demands the attention and service of others and takes anything she should own. It's not stealing, it's claiming one's royal due. The authorities may feel differently.
I think that based on how I'm building her so far, take what's mine makes sense
Yeah.
because property, property is inherently theft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if she's targeting people who are wealthy, especially those who hoard excessive
Yeah.
wealth, I don't think she's ever going to feel bad about taking something from those people. They're not gonna miss it after all. Look at everything else that they have.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I think take what's mine 100%
All right.
the way to go here.
Cool. Okay. So now we have all the set things. So now we are going to apply the lineage paths, like skills, attributes, etc. So do you know yet whether you want this character to identify more with their family or more with the aspect of being a hungry in general?
Ooh. I so the family that I'm looking at is the Ascetics, and the reason for this is because in my head, one of the places that she spent a lot of time being an unhoused individual was
Mhm.
the public library.
Okay.
So I think there's probably some element of like familial and like I mean because it's not a thing that she ever had growing up, there might be that desire to have that sort of connection with her family person. Um so yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I think. Oh gosh. This is such a crazy question because I don't know now. I don't know. Mm. Yeah, I think maybe going the family route.
That sounds that sounds like where you're going with it.
Yeah, like it sounds reasonable,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. If we get into it and you're like, you know what, no, I think I don't think I want the ascetic like as my major path, we can always change it. So let's call your lineage path your minor path for right now,
Okay.
and then your family path will be your major. So you get three path skills. You get from being a hungry,
Hmm.
empathy, medicine, and persuasion.
Okay.
And you're going to get four skill dots to distribute among those three skills.
Oh, okay. And is there a max number that I can put into any one skillet at this time?
Let me double check. I think you have to have at least one dot in each of them, but I don't remember now because I literally did this yesterday. But
But that was yesterday.
it
Today is a
was.
brand new day with whole new information.
There is no there yeah, no, um there is no maximum or minimum for these skill dots. Only the major path has a maximum or minimum.
Okay. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Then I think I'm gonna go with two empathy, two persuasion.
Okay.
Um, medicine doesn't, well, oh gosh. All right. Two persuasion, one empathy, one medicine. She has to know at least enough to keep herself safe.
Okay.
And then she has to be persuasive. Growing up, she had to be a little bit of a charmer.
Sure. Yeah.
So
That makes sense. All right, cool. And now, so now we're going to talk about your attributes. All nine of your attributes start at rating one,
okay.
and your minor path is going to give you four dots to distribute. So you're going to get one mental attribute dot that you could put in any of the three.
Okay.
You're going to get one physical
Okay.
and two social.
Okay. Uh, then I think we're gonna go with three manipulation total. So one presence, three manipulation, one composure.
Hmm.
Um, we are going to make her slightly more dexterous because running away from law
Yeah,
enforcement.
makes sense.
Yeah. And I think, ooh, I think cunning feels right. But if
Yeah.
but if we're leaning into the family, like intellect feels correct also.
Well, you're going to get more
But
dots from the family path. So
okay, all right. Then yeah. So one int, two cunning, one resolve, I think is the way
excellent.
to go.
All right. I'm gonna talk about the families.
Hmm.
You've chosen the ascetics, which is perfect, but I'm gonna talk about the other options that you could have had just for the listeners,
Hmm.
viewers, whatever, uh, so
Both.
that everybody's kind of aware what you had to choose from.
Yeah.
So, and who they are. So I'm gonna start past the ascetics, and then we'll come back to the ascetics because that's the one you're picking. So you have the Black Hearts, and the Black Hearts are they're kind of the anomaly group. They're a found family of people who have broken away from their creators, the people who made them hungry, because they, for whatever reason, they did not follow their normal family's feeding restrictions and instead are hungry for people's emotions. Because of that, they are kind of mercenary. They kind of feel like they've been a little fucked over because either they were considered black sheep or they were exiled or they were treated so poorly they left. So they kind of work a little mercenary for the other families, to keep any respect from the families that they can. Uh, and they're a little anarchic as far as like how they treat the rest of the hungry, but they care a whole lot about the people that they interact with, because one of the things about feeding on people is that you kind of have to, it has to be somewhat consensual. The person that you're feeding off of kind of has to give you, uh at least they have to kind of want you to take what you're taking from them. Now, it doesn't have to be a conscious want, but they kind of have to want it. So if you're taking somebody's emotions, they have to be freely giving you those emotions. And so they're very protective of the people because they make very strong bonds with them. If any of you are familiar with the that what is it? The survey, the like quiz, like what kind of cursed are you quiz? Um, the the ones that were called Dampier, that is a moniker that this group uses because they're more human-like than their brethren. Then we have the Gaki, and Gaki are
I
uh yeah,
I just have to laugh looking at the doc that you sent over with all of the information on the hungry for the black hearts. Just because nobody else could see this, it says others call us Dampier and some assholes call us crybabies. Fuck them in particular. And
yes,
that just makes me laugh. So I thought everybody else would get a kick out of it.
yes.
Yes, it's great.
All right. Yes, absolutely. They're a little pissy. Reasonably so. Uh so then we have the Gaki, and the Gaki are they're kind of ghost necromancers. I would call them straight up necromancers. They have a lot of ability to interact with ghosts and to sway ghosts, and they kind of claim a dominion over the ghosts because they eat them. And so they can summon them, and they make deals with the ghosts because, it's a little like I don't want every ghost to run from me every time they see me because they think I'm going to eat them. Um, and so we can summon ghosts, and we promise like, hey, you're my friend, I'm never going to eat you, kind of thing. Um, then we have heirs, and heirs are kind of the nobility of the of a group of people who kind of think of themselves as, elite humans or the rulers. The heirs are like, we rule the rulers kind of thing. They try to run cities, they invest in mortal institutions, so that they can have control over entire towns. And they're kind of like they foster human immortal communities, but they also use them as much as they can. They're also really rich. Then
Yeah.
we have
The
House ba-
the the line that I love from this one is others call us influencers, moguls, or usually things like that fucking bitch, but they're just jealous. And
yes,
that's beautiful. Just
yes,
like Abe, like 10 out of 10 no notes on the writing in this doc. It's great. It's great.
good. I don't know who wrote it, but good. House Bathory. House Bathory is they're kind of hedonists. They are they claim they come from Erzbet Bathory, and that she literally bathed in virgin blood. If that's true or not, they don't necessarily know, but they do know that they engage in blood bathing um, in her name. So They claim they're her descendants, but no, none of them really interact with her. In fact, they are afraid of her if she's around. Um, they are a little, they're, they're a little bloody and a little fighty because you can't bathe in a bath full of blood without spilling some blood to get there.
Weird that.
Weird that. Uh, so they do kind of find themselves kind of feeling a little pretentious, but they don't claim rulership the way the heirs do. They're mostly just kind of hedonistic, falling into this desire to kind of bathe in the blood of their enemies kind of thing.
I mean, it's a
And
vibe. Like,
it
let's
is,
let's be honest, 100% a vibe.
yes. And we have the Iscariots. The Iscariots claim that they are descended, and by descended, I mean they come from a line where the first hungry in their line was Judas Iscariot. That he was cursed because of his betrayal, and he has passed his curse down all the way to them. There are plenty of them, though, that are like, Judas Iscariot wasn't a real person. Or he was, but like, there was no cursing that happened because Jesus wasn't like anybody special. He was just a dude. Uh, so they have some other people who they believe their progenitor was. But they view this betrayal as a noble act of rebellion. They're maybe a little delusional, but that's okay because now they are rebels. They they say, we're here to fight. We're rebels with a cause. Any cause will do. We fight for justice, equality, and freedom. We make good trouble. We topple tyrants, raise up the oppressed, and we happily burn the city down rather than let injustice stand. They're kind of, people call them firebrands, and they're kind of scrappy in the sense that they're trying to kind of make a good name for themselves, even though inherently they are betrayers, every one of them, and they will happily betray somebody if they think it's for the good of their cause.
Sure.
Yeah. And then finally, we have the Vorare. The Vorare are infernalists. They have made a pact with demons, learned how to feed on people's souls rather than their blood or their flesh, and have demonic powers in the vein of flames that they can kind of summon and conjure. They did all this because they originally the person who created them was trying to break their curse and struck a deal with the demon. Unfortunately, they kind of went from one curse to another, so they have to kind of do this demon's bidding to keep their powers, or at least they think they do. And they are driven to make the world a better place, to destroy the curse if they possibly could. They don't know how to go about that, but they think making the world a better place may make it less fucked, which may mean that less people get cursed. Who knows? Some of them just kind of really like being slightly demonic, and maybe that's a bit of a problem. But a few black sheep here and there doesn't matter. They're revolutionaries. They work for change for the good through demonic cleansing. It's a whole thing.
I mean, and if you've heard it once, you've heard it 1,000 times, right? Just
Right. Yes. And then now let's talk about the Ascetics. So the ascetics are knowledge keepers, knowledge takers, knowledge hoarders. So a little bit of that is that they know knowledge information is currency. And so they have been using it ever since the beginning. Uh, it's a little bit of a pyramid scheme. So they anytime they get new information, they have to tithe it to their the people above them, but the people above them never give them knowledge in return.
I need everybody watching and listening to not say a word. Don't talk in the comments. Don't call me out on Discord. I did not know that going into this. But here we are. Just don't say it. We
I
all
mean,
know it. We're all thinking it. Don't say
yeah,
it.
we don't say those words out loud, but I will say that it's not a structure, it's not structured like a pyramid. It just is kind of a pyramid scheme in the sense of how they have to it's a MLM.
It's an MLM. Yeah, no,
It's an
I was
MLM.
gonna say it's great. Yeah, you have your downline and
Uh-huh.
you have to keep recruiting more for your downline. But the problem is you can only do that 13 times before, you run out of people in the world. So
That's,
that's
yeah, not true, but yes.
it's well, what is it? What is it? I mean, with MLMs, they say, oh, if you recruit five people and then they recruit five people, then
Five
it's
people.
13 phases and then you're out of
Yes.
people in the world. So
Yes, yes.
uh yeah.
All right. So, so as an ascetic, and this is your major path. So your path skills are going to be culture, enigmas, and science. And you're going to get 6 dots to distribute among them, and each of those must have at least 1 dot.
Now, when we talk about science, okay, I see science and technology are totally different things. So science is like your chemistries, biologies, things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Then I think we're gonna go 3, 4. We're gonna do 2 culture, 3 enigmas, 1 science.
Okay. And now you have 5 dots to distribute among your mental attributes. 2 dots for your physical, and 3 dots for your social.
Okay. And I did not hit this before I started doing it. Mentally, you said 5?
5 for mental,
Okay.
yes.
Great, 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 great. Then we're gonna go definitely 2 for intellect. I might do another 2 in cunning and then 1 in resolve. So that gives me 3, 4, 2 in that order. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. Yeah, I think we'll add 1 to might because, if you have to climb a fence or something, you need a little bit of upper body strength, and then
Sure.
another 1 for stamina because if you gotta run, you gotta run.
Yeah.
And then for social, hmm. Oh gosh, that's such a good question. Um, think I think we're gonna do like 1 for presence, 1 for manipulation, and then sorry, so add 0 to presence, add 1 to manipulation, and then 2 to composure. So have a 1, 4, 3 spread there. Because I
Sure.
like the idea that she can kind of like easily blend into a crowd and be somebody that nobody notices.
Yeah. But
So
she's not necessarily good at like talking face to face with people. I like that.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. So, because this is your major path, you're going to get a major path inheritance. So, the the major path inheritance for the Ascetics is once you've learned something, you don't forget it. Once per session, you may describe a story element in a scene as though you had spent a momentum. So, one of the things you can do with momentum is kind of dramatically edit a story element. So, you can just do that in a scene without spending any momentum. And then when you activate your Undead Strength, you gain +2 enhancement to your mental arena instead of 1.
Oh, love that. Rad.
And and then you're going to get a motif. And a motif is kind of a modifier to how you cast your spells that give your family a little more flavor um, towards the practices that all hungry know.
Okay.
So you have 3 options. You're going to pick one. If we were doing more than a one shot, you would be able to buy the others with experience points in the future. So, but just kind of think about this. So, when casting a spell with the elemental attunement, you'll bleed 1 fewer curse die to a minimum of 0. So, normally you bleed curse die to kind of activate powerful spells. This lets you bleed 1 fewer. When casting a spell with the ethereal attunement, so this is stuff like dealing with purely supernatural things, you bleed 1 additional curse die to apply the unlucky status effect to the target. The unlucky status effect is kind of like a little baby curse. Something bad will happen to them because they're fucking unlucky.
Hmm.
And then when casting a spell with the psychic attunement, bleed 1 additional curse die to apply the confused status effect to the target.
I'm leaning towards when casting a spell with the psychic attunement, bleed 1 to leave
To
them confused.
That's great.
Yeah. Just fits the vibe.
Yeah, totally right. All right, so that's it for your family path. So now we're going to go back and we'll pick our last path, which is your role path. So your role is kind of the thing that you do right now in the world. So it's maybe the center, it's your lifestyle, it's your profession, it's, kind of helps define your drives and influences how you react to things and how you pursue your goals. So these are all kind of written in a way that says like your, either it's kind of they're all like action type roles in the sense of like you're an activist or you're a criminal or you're you're an influencer, things like that. So, and if there's something on this list or if there's something that you're thinking that isn't on the list that I sent you, we can maybe just make one up because turns out you can just make up your own paths in Story Path. It's super easy to do, especially for role paths.
Uh oh gosh. I'm I'm thinking because she's not an academic, right?
Mm-mm,
It's
no.
not that's not her thing. Um, she's not a caregiver. She's not creative. Um, maybe criminal.
I think for this character, just throwing this out here, I think either criminal or investigator
Okay,
would
okay.
would work. If you want her to be a little more, I want to say fighty,
Mm-hmm.
I would pick criminal. And if you want her to be a little more thinky, I would
Mm-hmm.
pick investigator. And I think both fit though, um, as far as like the things they're going to give you.
Yeah, looking at investigator, I think you're right on that. And ideally she's got access to things that give her information, which of course is what the ascetics are all about.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think investigators are a really good call there.
Cool. So your path skills are empathy, enigmas, and pilot.
Perfect.
And I think you already have empathy and enigmas, or at least,
Hmm.
yeah, which, whatever. Um, and you're going to get 4 dots to distribute among those. And you don't have to put a dot in every single one like you did with the family path.
Okay. Now for pilot, what is that? Is that for planes? Is it
It's
for
for everything.
drive? Is it
It's literally everything that you would need to navigate with.
okay?
And it also kind of includes like navigating through spaces, even if you're just walking.
Okay.
Um, it's called pilot because that's kind of the most active form of the skill, but it's also, navigating your way through a city street kind of
Okay.
thing.
Okay. Cool. Then I think we're gonna go with two for pilot and then an extra one in empathy and an extra one in enigma and just kind of beef all those
Okay,
up a little bit.
sounds good. And then for your path attributes, you're going to get 2 mental, 1 physical, and 1 social. All those mental dots.
I know. So just oh, it's so nice. Yeah, then I think we're gonna go one more in intellect, one more in cunning, so 4 and 5 respectively. For physical, we'll just go with dexterity again. And then for social, oh yeah, I mean manipulation. Like
Yeah, why
gotta
not?
lie to find information sometimes. Let's go.
Let's
So,
go. All right, perfect. All right, so now we're going to finalize statistics. So you're going to get 4 additional skill dots to distribute to any skills. They don't have to be path skills. They can be path skills if you have a path skill you want to bump up a little, or they can be, anything you feel your character should have that a path didn't give you. This is where you can kind of round out the character with those. So you get 4 skill dots.
and when we talk athletics, we're talking, I mean, anything that requires, like, I mean, climbing a wall or anything like that. That's all athletics.
Yes. So
Okay.
yeah, if you're doing a break in enter, athletics is going to be helpful.
Okay. Okay. I'm thinking two athletics and then a point in larceny and then a point in technology.
Okay. And then you're going to get contacts. And contacts are people that you know. They can be normal humans, they can be other supernaturals, they can be anybody. You're going to get 1 from each of your paths, and you're going to have 5 dots to spend on them. And the way that that works, so that you understand, is that contacts kind of take the place of like allies and contacts from other story games, story X games. uh, and they are able to do things for you at your request. Anything that they would need to make a roll for, they have 8 dice, and they get an enhancement in specific areas uh, based on their dot ratings. So the enhancement only comes if it is an arena that you have given them a tag for, and they get tags, 1 tag for each dot you give them. Essentially, those are the things they're best at, and so they'll get their dot rating as enhancement to do those things for you. The tags are things like an archive who has access to ancient and esoteric lore, someone who's dangerous, who, can do violent things for you, a mentor who can give you story guide information, an investigator who can find evidence, an informant who can provide you with like spying and information and things like that. Somebody who's moneyed, who can give you money. Security, somebody who can give you a place to stay or sanctuary. Somebody who's sneaky, they can get in and out of places. A fence, who can sell things on, the in the underground for you, or somebody who's influential, who can get you into like places you wouldn't normally be able to get yourself in. So the way that works is you get 1 contact from each path and then 5 dots to distribute among them. So essentially you'll spend 1, 2, 3 dots picking up each of the contacts and then distribute 2 more dots to kind of bring one or more of them up to have a little more, I guess, areas that they're good at.
Okay, okay. So we can spend up to 3 dots on each of them, up to a total of 5 dots, right?
Up to a total of 5, right? So
Okay.
essentially, really, and this is, you have 5 dots worth of contacts that can be distributed among at least 3 different contacts.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that 3 of those dots are used just getting the contacts in the first place, and then 2 of the dots will be used to kind of bump some of them up.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, okay, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, because I'm like, it would make sense if like my sneaky contact was also my fence, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
totally. Um, got it. All right. And then I think librarian with access to an archive. Obviously, that kind of makes sense to me.
Yep.
Uh, and then I guess I will have a third one, who I will wait, because I'm out of points at that point. Because that'll
No,
be.
so you have somebody who's sneaky who is also a fence. So that's
Mm-hmm.
2 dots.
Yeah.
And then you have a librarian who has an archive.
Mm-hmm.
That's 1 dot.
Oh,
Each
okay.
dot
Okay. I
gives them a
thought,
tag.
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that you had said that it was 5 dots. You have to spend a dot to get the contact, and then
It
you spend additional dots.
Yeah, so you do spend a dot to get the contact, but that dot
But
comes with a
it gives
tag.
them a tag. Okay,
Yes,
I'm right here. I'm finally on the same page. It took me
that's fine.
forever, but I'm here. I am here. Okay, awesome, awesome. Um, then yeah, I think having an informant would be good, especially if I'm looking for information. And then hmm. Ooh, now, would it be weird to have an informant slash investigator be the same person? Probably
No,
not,
not at
right?
all. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
And in general, we tie those to your paths. So you probably informant investigator probably comes from your investigator path.
Mm-hmm.
Your archive probably comes from your ascetic path.
Mm-hmm.
And then your sneaky fence is probably a hungry that you met, or
Yeah.
another lineage character that you met from your hungry path.
And I think all of that makes a ton of sense.
Yep, great. And now we are moving to probably the hardest step for everybody.
Oh,
Is you're going to get 5 edge dots,
okay.
and edges are like right here in this step section.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there's a, edges are just like in story path where they give you little bonuses. They're always on. Sometimes you may need to spend a momentum for them, but mostly they trigger when you take an action, right? Like specific actions trigger them. And mostly mundane things, but there are a couple of supernatural edges. A lot of those supernatural edges are restricted by lineage.
Mm.
So you should check which lineage you like. If you see one you like, you need to check which lineage. I think for you, you can do Allure and Expanded Palate are the 2 supernatural that are the hungry lineage ones.
Yeah, and neither of those are really standing out for this character, I think.
Yeah, which is totally fine.
So yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I love this part of character creation where you're like, all right, cool. What are some cool things that my character can do? And then you're just overwhelmed because there's so many cool things.
yes, exactly. That's why I said this one's kind of hard because people are like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, there's so many good things. I only get five
Yeah,
dots.
I know. Ooh, okay. The first one that stands out to me is actually anonymity.
I was thinking that
Um,
you might pick that.
yeah. We're on the same page, you and me, D. You
Yeah.
understand this character very, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will determine the dots based on other things that stand out to me, but I like the idea that she's very much an unknown entity. She
Yeah.
just kind of exists. She fades into the background really easily. Nobody pays her any mind, and that comes in handy really, really well. And then of course, if she's got like the confused thing and she uses that on her victims, like it just like who nobody knows what happened to this person. Everybody around was like, I don't remember. I have no idea. I'm loving this character. Sorry. It's all coming to me and I'm really excited about it. Oh, this is great. This is great. Okay. Let's see. Hmm. Hmm. Ooh, hands on the wheel feels like a good one,
I was thinking,
right?
I was literally just reading that because I was checking the pilot prerequisite for it to see if you qualified, which you do.
I do. I do. Yeah, being able to get away from anybody or to not have to worry about the danger on the road. I mean, yeah, that sounds right up her alley. Let's see, let's see, let's see.
I think, if I'm gonna, I think well read, is also good, like a good one for you.
Okay, let's see. Oh yeah. 100%. 100%.
And this one is for, viewers, you're a regular bookworm. There's nothing you haven't devoured in a tome somewhere. When you make a culture or enigmas action during a procedural scene, you automatically gain an extra piece of evidence based on having known all this stuff.
And I think that is really, really great. So then with one dot from well read, two for hands on the wheel. If there's anything else that stands out, let's see. I'm hmm. The only other thing that I'm looking at, I think, is either logical leap or it's a feature.
So I will say that some of the other folks who've made characters have picked up Logical Leap.
Okay,
So
okay.
not saying that y'all can't all just get a bunch of leads
No, but
by
like
spending momentum.
spotlight, right? You
Yeah, yeah.
wanna, you wanna, yeah. Okay, yeah, because I think it's a feature also makes sense for her. Like she can dig stuff out of the trash and just like make stuff work.
Right.
Because she's had to. So that would put anonymity at one. Then if I do that, which means your character's kept a low social profile, attempts to track and identify her increase difficulty by one. Um. And I think that's pretty good. I don't think that she would be able to erase herself from records, but like keeping a low profile is totally in line
Oh yeah,
with who she
absolutely.
is. So yes, then it's a feature. One dot there.
Cool. All right. So now we get to the more fun part. So that's fun, but then here's more fun. So if you go back to the hungry document,
Hmm.
at the very bottom of it are the hungry practices, and it's a little description of what you have three practices that essentially kind of cover different arenas that the hungry are good at. And there's 5 spells within each practice. You have access to getting any of these spells. So there's 15 options, and you get 3 of them.
Oh my gosh. Now, do all of the spells have to be within a specific practice, or can I pick and
Nope.
choose between all of them? Okay.
You can pick and choose
Ooh.
between all of them.
Ooh, how fun. How fun. Okay. I love all of these. This is great. Uh Tabula Rasa.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
First out the gate. Make someone forget about you for a short time. Duh. Like, obviously her favorite thing. You never saw me here.
No. Yes.
Um, I also think Dark Embrace, if she gets caught, she can get away really easily, or she can use it to sneak up on people, to watch, to do whatever.
Yep.
Um, and then, uh, I think Tenebrous Sight, see clearly even in magical darkness.
Yes.
I think that is those are the ways to go here.
Cool. And for folks that Dark Embrace allows her to become one with the shadows. So essentially she can kind of blend into the shadows.
And that I
Let
think
me,
is great.
and then let me really quickly, I'm going to read like kind of the more, I would say, detailed
Hmm.
mechanics of each of these just to give people kind of an idea of what they do. So tabula rasa, you essentially you you have to bleed a curse die for it. You can edit information. So choose a target to change their memories of the scene. So you could do it at the end of a scene and change their memories of the entire scene. It's a psychic ability, so you can also choose to leave them confused after you do it. You can edit information out of their memories, but can't replace it with anything or change memories into something different. So you're just pulling the information out. It happens selectively and naturally. So, for instance, if you choose to edit yourself out of someone's memories, they'll automatically fill the blank space with either someone from previous or later memories, or just forget that there was a person there in the first place. If you do this to somebody who's supernatural, you'll have to do a clash on them, but mortals, you just do it. Uh, then for Embraced by Darkness, we have when you activate this spell, you become like a shadow and are invisible to the naked eye. If someone is using magic to reveal you, that provokes a clash. Otherwise, people just can't see you. And this one doesn't require you to bleed curse dice. Instead, you just have to have 2 curse dice available in your pool. And then Tenebrous Sight is you have to have 3 curse dice in your pool. So it's a little more like I have to have done stuff to get some curse dice. But you can activate this spell, and anything that is hidden or concealed to you in your area is revealed. So here is that magical see things power that could see somebody in Embraced by Darkness. This doesn't negate. It doesn't negate spells that keep something invisible, but it will provoke a clash. So you essentially you get a clash. You don't necessarily automatically negate it. And if something is mundanely hidden, you know exactly where it is and how to get to it.
Oh, that's so cool. That's exciting. Ugh, love everything about this. This is so fun.
Yeah, cool.
Perfect.
And then, so really quickly, so that's pretty much it for the the main things. The next thing we're going to do is, so we're going to skip creating character bonds because we'll do that at the very beginning of the actual play session.
Hmm.
So the very last thing you do when creating a character is decide character aspirations, and these are the things that you want your character to do or accomplish, or essentially actions you want them to take in the session. If you have some ideas for them, you can tell me now or write them down. Otherwise, we'll do this like you can think about this between now and when we do the actual play session.
Okay.
You get 2 short term and 1 long term, and there's stuff like, steal a book from somebody, learn something new, right? They're prompts for me to help you like get a thing done in the game or have a scene that you're interested in having with your character in the game.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna sit on it for a little bit because obviously there's a whole bunch of stuff, a
Yeah.
whole bunch of different ways to go. And these tend to take me just a little bit longer to figure out.
Yeah,
So, um,
absolutely.
but I will have them ready for the
Sure.
AP. So,
Perfect.
so exciting.
Are you excited?
I'm I'm legitimately so excited. Like this character is I've never played a character like with this sort of style of like background or anything like that. Um, I haven't played I'm there is a certain vampire game out there that everybody knows that I love, but this character, even though we kind of have there's some similarities, like very, very different.
Yep.
Which is important. And also like there's so much fun stuff here. Um, I'm so flippin' excited about this.
Having created characters with it so far three other of the lineages, and I have one more with the sorcerers that I'm going to be doing next week with Rolling Nomads. And so far we have a very social dead,
Okay.
like a walking red flags manipulative jerk. Um,
Awesome. Love this. Love this
yeah.
energy.
Yeah, we have a primal who's also kind of weirdly social. Um, yeah. And we have a kind of fighty outcast because a lot of the outcasts tend to be fighty. Um, it's just who they are. Who also has a little bit of social acumen, because that you, you devil's deals and all that kind of stuff. And now we have your character who's very like not social, other than a little bit of manipulation, and very focused on like learning and that kind of thing. So I'm really interested to see the sorcerer character, how that rounds this group out,
Oh
because
yeah.
I have a feeling sorcerers tend to be a little on the more mental side, just
Mhm.
because, they're sorcerers and they do a little learning. Um, but that's not necessarily the case. There are absolutely families within the sorcerers who are pretty punchy. So I'm interested to see what the sorcerer turns out to be and how this group ends up. I'm super excited also.
I personally can't wait. I think this is really, really exciting. I'm glad that we have as many faces as we do in the group because sometimes you have that one group where it's just like, nope, there's one designated face and it's just that person doing the same stuff over and over and over
Yeah,
again. So it's nice to have a kind of well-rounded group in that way.
yeah.
Even if other folks like aren't manipulative, like cool, maybe that's a thing that my character can hop in and do. I'm not
Right.
above lying and
Right. Yeah. I think there's like we need somebody to be sleazy here, so this person's going to do it. But here we need
hmm
somebody who's like can instill confidence and like friendliness. So did sleazeball go away? We need somebody else to
exactly.
come and do
You're
this.
you're go around the corner. They can't even see you. They're gonna
Yeah.
know something's up.
Right. Yeah. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited to see where it goes. So
Yeah. Now, because this is an exciting thing, and obviously we haven't like talked about it because it's like a super secret thing. When is this AP? So everybody listening and watching knows when to tune in, and we'll definitely make an event on our Discord so folks know, but only after this comes out. So we don't
yes.
want to spoil anything.
Right.
But
So we will be airing the actual play at OPPCon. So the first viewing of it will be immediately after opening ceremonies. I'm running the tech on opening ceremonies, and as soon as opening ceremonies end, I'm hitting play on that AP.
so exciting. Oh, that is so, so, so exciting. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, cannot wait. Everybody here needs to be excited for OPP last year we had some of our friends on a few games over there, and those
Yeah.
they were all really really great. So super excited that QCG gets to be a part of OPP this year. Thank you so
Yay.
much for the invite.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this character.
Well, I
So,
mean, we love your work and we love your actual plays, so
stop.
so of course we invited you.
I mean, well, okay. Be nice, I guess. That's fine.
Yeah. All right, great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. If people want to find out more information either about you, the things that you do over at OPP, or any more information on Curseborne, where should they go to see little tidbits as they are being dribbled out?
So if you want to talk to me personally, I do spend a lot of time on the OPP Discord, which I can get you an invite link, so it'll be in the show notes.
Yep,
Um,
perfect.
and there is not currently a channel for talking about Curseborne. You're welcome, honestly, to talk about it in the general chat. Some people may tell you, oh, there's a thread. There is a thread in the general chat for Curseborne. So if you like go in the general chat and look in the threads, there's a Curseborne thread there. But honestly, at this point, please talk about it in the general chat. Get everybody hyped. Talk about the fact that we're going to be we're going to be airing this actual play at OPPCon. And people will be able to see their actually second look at Curseborne,
Oh,
because the very first look at Curseborne was at OPPCon last year. But I'm not going to say anything more about that. And
wow.
there is a Curseborne website, which is curseborne.com.
Mhm.
And you can, I think, click around there. There may be some of these character creation sessions up there. If they're not there already, they may show up in the next week or so. And there's also the little quiz I talked about earlier, and some other links that are in the moths.
Yeah. I know that my good friend Matthew Dawkins, friend of the court, has shared the Curseborn quiz
Mhm.
in the QCG Discord, and for a while everybody was freaking out about it and sharing their results because
Yeah.
they're so strange and they're so wonderful, and the whole thing was just really, really fun. We'll obviously be posting more about that. We'll probably get people doing that again this
Yeah,
week because
probably.
why not?
Yeah, why not?
So yeah, super, super fun. How exciting. Thank you, Dee, so much
Yeah.
for joining me for this. This has been great. I'm really hyped for this, and I can't wait for OPPCon. I can't wait for our AP. It's gonna be amazing.
It's going to be so good. All right. Excellent. Well, thank you for having me here. Um, I hope you have a good time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, me too, to be honest. I think that's the whole point of games, right? Is to
Yeah,
have a good
right.
time and have fun.
Absolutely.
So, I can't imagine knowing the folks that are also in the AP with me. I can't imagine it's going to be a bad time. Everybody there is they are fantastic people. So,
Excellent.
thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to our patrons who make all of this stuff possible. I guess that's it. You all know me. I'm V. And until next time. Bye for now.
Bye.